Drake is being criticized by some of your favorite hip hop, aficionados, Ebro, DJ Academics. They're all very old men now, and they're picking on Drake. And they're saying that Drake is, and this is from TMZ Hip Hop. Who knew that existed? Drake is severely neglecting his responsibilities to the hip hop community while also being the biggest rapper in the game. At least that's what several of the top gatekeepers would have you believe. Elliot Wilson, who I don't know who that is, but he says it would be great to hear Drake speak to us again, even if it ain't me. I mean, Drake doesn't really speak to anybody, but they're upset, some of these guys, that Drake went on some TikTokers podcast, and she's wearing Canadian clothes. So I'm guessing she's Canadian. She's looks like she's ripe with anxiety, as any good TikToker Gen Zer would.
If someone was like, "Oh,
let's take a look.
Have you ever heard Kiki Do You Love Me by like Tyga?"
Yeah.
You would be like, you would fully be convinced.
Absolutely.
There's no, okay.
There's absolutely.
What's your favorite Tyga song?
Is he married to Kylie Jenner?
So she doesn't know who Tyga is. Drake's disgusted by that, as you can see. I think it would be hilarious to interview Drake. But the idea here, Eric, is that Drake doesn't speak to enough hip-hop podcasters like Ebro and like, who else did I mention there? Academics. Surely he's not speaking to Vlad, who would surely, I'm sure, would be upset by this. He's instead.
Well, they would be upset. They would be upset if he spoke to Vlad. Vlad not getting a pass in this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that the idea that he can't go on some stupid TikTokers podcast and, try to reach this younger generation. Listen, Drake's been around since what, like 2008 or something, Eric? And they have a problem with Drake going on some TikTokers podcast where they're wearing blankets and she's about to have an anxiety and panic attack. She's ready to start sweating and call the police on him because she's so Gen Z. He can't go on there and try to reach a new audience because he doesn't really go on anything, as far as I know. He appears here and there. It would be hilarious to interview Drake.
What's her name?
I'll find out in a second. I would applaud anyone who got to interview Drake because it'd be hilarious. I'd ask him about the school shooting in Degrassi. I'd ask him about like the memes about him crying in the shower. I'd ask him about so many things. And Bobby Althoff.
Yeah.
I would ask about so many things, and they're really just hating. But isn't that what they do, Eric? It reminds me of a very great clip of Joe Budden, who's one of the most angry old men rappers of all time, talking to Lil Yachty, who is a nice boy, a nice young man. Don't particularly care for his rap unless it's written by what's his name? He does all the bank robbery songs with him. T Grizzly. When T Grizzly writes his lyrics, it's okay. But Joe Budden's talking to Lil Yachty and, just giving him shit about not supporting the culture and not saying the right things and not rapping about the right things. Well, Lil Yachty's in like T-Mobile commercials and, selling cereal, making a lot of money. And he's just like, please, Joe Budden, just chill out. This is what I get from even Vlad. You say they won't accept him, but academics and these guys, they're just so angry about anyone. And if you would think about it in any other genre, that would be, it's the equivalent to angry old basketball player just being like, I don't like the way Steph Curry shoots threes all the time. I don't like the way they're shooting so many threes. It's stupid now because they're making way more money and way more popular than them. That's what I feel like. The Steven Jacksons, the Kendrick Perkins, the players that nobody cared to listen to back then, but are now just haters, so people like to hear them talk.
All right, just for once, stop pretending. You're on the computer anyways. You always got your cell phone in your hand. So just take a quick moment, sign up to the Patreon, patreon.com/uopod. You will not regret it. You're going to see us fly off the handle and say all the things that we can't say on YouTube, lest we be kicked off and shunned from society. So sign up to the Patreon. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, first of all, we'll never know. We'll never be able to set this in stone, but I can almost guarantee you that if Drake talked to Vlad, those Elliot Wilson and academics would not like that. Maybe academics, because academics is a little bit more common sense, right? Academics, he notoriously made the switch to Rumble, right? So he's getting a Rumble check because he had videos on YouTube. Look, I used to follow Academics before he was okay. Maybe he's not a household name, but I mean, I remember when Academics had maybe I don't know, a couple 100,000. He's now got 5 million or whatever on YouTube. So Academics might be okay with Drake talking to Vlad. The rest of the guys, Elliot Wilson and Ebro, are deep into the Matrix. Okay, so Vlad, white man, bad, doesn't matter. They're not going to applaud him. A whole bunch of other rappers that are up and coming are going to call Vlad a fed because he asked probing questions that some people are stupid enough to answer. And um, I was curious about this because I saw this. I don't know when these articles were written or like how, but I remember when these articles first, it took over my algorithm, right? I don't even use TikTok, but there is this girl is all over my Instagram algorithm somehow, some way. She's obviously broken through, and I remember genuinely thinking, why are they showing me this? How did this girl become so popular? Um, uh, Almost overnight. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say she didn't put in any work because I'm sure she does a lot of this TikTok stuff, but just one day she's absolutely everywhere. And they're showing me, with Funny Marco, who's, huge Instagram, or I'm not on TikTok, so I can't testify to what's going on over there. But I will say it seems most of the time when you see a big Instagram account and then they have listed in their bio, quadruple the amount of followers on TikTok. So you could have 100,000 on Instagram and you're going to have 500,000 on TikTok because that's just how the algorithm is working, apparently. So I think she's a comedian. I am not. I don't. Her shtick is not funny to me. It's this sort of like super duper deadpan. Like, I never heard of Drake. Like, who are you?
Female comedian stereotype, like 6A, basically. Oh, this is how I talk.
Yeah. Exactly. So I didn't, and I'm not trying. This is not a jab at her. I'm not taking anything away from her. But I spent, I don't know, 30 minutes looking at her account, and the jokes are not meant for me, right? Like, it's clearly her. She's got her formula that obviously works for other people, but why it's so popular is beyond me. She's got like lopsided boobs. I think she's got kids, so like she's selling these weird like maternity bras or something like that. So shout out to her getting paid for that. And as far as Drake is concerned, it is curious as to whatever agency she's working for, they put them in touch and got that done. But you also mentioned Little Yachty. These guys could. I mean, they were good. They had their moment. Drake is obviously. I mean, Drake comes on my iPod on shuffle, iPhone, whatever, on shuffle, and I remember how many great songs he has. So shout out, America's Hat. But it's over, bro. Like, you don't. Drake could live the rest of his life and not put out one more song, and he would be absolutely cemented. It wouldn't even matter. So I guess what he's doing is taking this other lane, and outside of all that, and Yachty doesn't even hold a candle to that. Him and Yachty are buddies. That's probably, if I had to guess, Yachty probably co-signed this girl. Like, oh, okay, all the Yachty might be 10 years younger than Drake, and he knows about this girl. So when they're hanging out, Yachty could say, yeah, go on the podcast. She's a cool girl, whatever. And that's just me guessing. All that said, they're both completely compromised for one thing alone. And I'm sure you know what it is. Do you know what it is?
Who are we
Drake,
talking about?
Drake and
Lil
Yachty. Yes.
Compromised? What are they?
Why would those
I
two?
know that. I didn't realize Drake's only 36. He looks terrible for 36. I thought he was 45, and Lil Yachty's 25. So you're right. I thought I was about to make fun of you. What are they? What am I missing?
Nail polish.
Right. I was actually talking about that today. Who was it that it was some guy? My girl was watching some show, one of the Sex Island shows. Those shows where they have the couples meet the singles, and one of the black guys on it had painted nails. Like 2 of his nails were painted, and I was like, Eric said, for a black guy to have his nails painted, that's the step into the direction that you don't want to go.
Absolutely, that's the
So
first
you're
step to
really
your.
affecting the Canadian culture up here. the white people watching trashy reality TV shows. You're affecting it.
Hey, I do my part.
Turn it up, Jordan.